Hello, it's Tyler from Fixera. Today in the shop we have a Lenovo ThinkPad T440. The customer said they tried to work on it themselves, but they ran into issues. They did not provide us with any other information, so we will just be running with what we got. We'll start by taking this back cover off. I don't have the right power adapter for this laptop, so we'll be injecting the voltage directly into the DC jack. So this back just pops right off. Looking at it, it looks pretty good. There's no form of dust buildup or anything, especially for this being a 2013 laptop. It looks pretty good. I do notice that this fan connector has been tucked under the fan, which means that someone took off this heatsink already for whatever reason, and when they were installing it, they forgot to plug it back in and just let it be squished. So we'll start with that. Now we'll take off the bracket for the DC jack and hook up our power supply. All of the screws on this laptop are just Phillips, just really convenient. Some of the newer Macs use all wacky types of screwdrivers and you're always fiddling with them. Now we just connect our black probe to the black wire. And red to red. That looks pretty good to me. Let's open up this laptop and give it some power. We're injecting 20 volts at 3.25 amps, which is what the back of the laptop said. We are pulling 8 milliamps. Now we're going back down to 2. Back up to 1 amp. That 1 amp is probably the battery starting to charge, so we can try and power this on. So booting straight into Windows. Promising. At this time we were pulling 0 amps, which means that this is fully running off of the internal battery. Now the laptop seems to have just died. I'll power on again. No. And we have a blinking power button. We're getting 3 blinks. Being that this is a very old laptop, I want to start with unplugging the battery, see if it's just a nice simple fix. Made sure to turn off my power supply before touching the motherboard. So we have our battery unplugged, just going to open it up and turn the power back on. We're pulling just about 0.5 amp. Lots of activity. I'm going to press Escape to continue. And it did not boot. Let's try it one more time. We're pulling about 0.8 amps. There we go. So this time we made it into Windows. We're pulling just about 0.5 amp now. which probably means that our battery is bad. So just from this, I'm going to assume that the customer went to replace their battery, had an issue, and just did not complete it. I also notice up on this keyboard we have some missing keys, so we'll have to find a donor board to take some from. This is promising. We're getting to Windows updates. There we go. So we actually booted. So I think all of the errors that we're running into is just due to that front battery. So I'm going to shut this down. I'm going to try to see if we can run it just off of the back battery and save this customer a couple bucks. So we can just discuss different plans if they don't want to spend money on a laptop this old. Okay, great. We are fully shut off. Our fan stopped spinning. We're pulling 0 amps. So we can go grab that battery for the rear of the laptop and see if that will lead to a more stable system. There we go, battery is installed. Sitting still here, we are pulling 0 amps, which means this battery is not charging. Pressing the battery now doesn't turn it on, which means that this battery in the back is oh so dead. So I'll turn off our power supply and remove it. Let's open it up one last time just to verify it still turns on. Remembering to turn on our power supply. It does want to turn on. Now I'm going to shut this off before it goes crazy. Okay, so currently it's a 2013 laptop. It's pretty old. We're going to get back to the customer to see if they want to replace the batteries or whether or not they're using it at more of like a docked mode where they don't need the batteries and it's not worth the money. So I'll reach out to them, get back to you, and let you know how we're going to finish this up. Okay, we got back to our customer. They said that they actually use it primarily in that docked mode like I mentioned. So we are just going to disconnect the battery, give the outside of the laptop a cleaning, and return it. Now that it boots, we'll run some stress tests just to make sure everything's nice and tidy. And this will be a done project for our customer. So with our power supply still on, we're going to attempt to boot. We're going to interrupt this. It's complaining right now that the CMOS battery is dead, so every time the laptop turns on, the BIOS has a different clock than the system, so it throws that error, but it doesn't affect functionality. Now I'm going to proceed one last time. Very gently, I'm going to flip this laptop around so that I can verify the functions of the laptop still work. Something to note, I actually will be keeping this front battery in here even though it's dead. And the reason for that is that the weight distribution will be very uneven and light without it. So by keeping in the battery, it makes it feel a bit more sturdy. I'm going to go do some testing with this off camera, and I'll jump back where we can give this a cleaning and put the back on. Okay, we ran all the tests. It looks good, aside from the batteries being dead, which the customer doesn't care about. Just unplugging it will fix it for this customer. So let's get the back on, pop it on, clean it up, and we'll be done. Slowly working our way around, popping on the clips. It's important to make sure that you don't cross-thread these screws. They're just going into plastic, so it can be very easy to mess them up. For electronics cleaner, I use this Whoosh. It's worked very well for me in the past, and not only does it clean, but it also can polish the screen, so it looks really good. You just get a microfiber cloth. Always make sure to apply on your paper towel or microfiber cloth and not onto the laptop. It's already looking better. Look how much better that looks. So we'll send this back to our customer. We opened up this laptop this video. We realized that the dead batteries were the issue, that this laptop would be unstable and not turn on. The customer decided that they did not want to replace the batteries, or the keys for that matter, just because they're just using it in a docked environment and they're not actually taping or using the battery. So we'll get this closed up and sent back to the customer. Thank you for watching.